Erika Kirk was introduced to Charlie Kirk through Donald Trump. She had been procured for like Donald Trump's pageants. She won like Miss Arizona or something. She was literally like a registered actress and starred in a reality TV show, a romance one at that. He met her on a trip to Israel. Charlie met her on one of these wall humping trips.
Never before seen footage from what is being called Charlie and Erika Kirk's private wedding ceremony has suddenly surfaced online, and reports claim it may have been leaked by Charlie's own sister, Mary. The second the video appeared, social media exploded with reactions, speculation, and non-stop debate. What started as a private moment quickly turned into one of the most talked about clips on the internet. People were not simply watching the footage for entertainment. Fans, online commentators, behavioral observers, and body language analysts started examining nearly every frame with incredible attention to detail, almost like they were reviewing key evidence in a major case. And according to many of those viewers, what they believe they spotted in the video raised even more questions than answers. Those who closely analyzed the footage say Charlie Kirk did not appear to be the picture of a joyful groom. Instead, they claim he looked tense, uneasy, and uncertain. Several independent analysts who reviewed the video pointed to moments they interpreted as signs of discomfort. In their view, he appeared like someone struggling with the weight of a major decision rather than someone completely at ease with the moment. That interpretation has sparked a massive discussion across the internet, and the conversation shows no signs of slowing down. Of course, many people have offered a much simpler explanation: wedding nerves. That is a completely normal reaction for a lot of people. Standing in front of family and friends, being the center of attention, and making a lifelong commitment can create intense pressure. Even the most confident people can feel shaken when faced with a moment that important. Nobody is arguing that wedding nerves are real, but this is where the story takes a more controversial turn. Some sources are not just claiming that Charlie looked nervous in the footage. They are suggesting that he appeared uncomfortable for deeper reasons. One allegation now spreading rapidly online is that Charlie may have felt significant pressure leading up to the marriage, with some commentators specifically pointing to Erika as part of that discussion. It is important to note that these claims remain allegations and have not been independently verified. That is the narrative being pushed by certain sources who say they have insider knowledge about how the relationship developed behind the scenes. According to those accounts, the public image of the relationship may not have reflected everything that was happening privately. Supporters of this theory argue that when they look at the broader timeline and details surrounding the couple, the speculation begins to make more sense to them, even though there is no public evidence confirming those claims. Others have focused on details from the wedding itself. Some people online have discussed Erika's appearance during the ceremony, including her makeup and dress choice. According to these discussions, some observers felt her bridal style differed from the more traditional and conservative look that Charlie was publicly known to praise. These observations are based on personal opinions and interpretations, rather than established facts. On their own, those details might seem small, but for people already questioning the relationship, they have become part of a much larger debate. Supporters of these theories believe the various claims and observations combine to create a picture that is different from the one many people saw publicly. One detail that frequently comes up in these conversations is that Erika Kirk is 5 years older than Charlie, a fact that some online commentators continue to highlight while discussing the relationship. She married Charlie while already in her 30s and later had children during that stage of her life as well. Erika also built an impressive academic background, earning degrees from both Arizona State University and Liberty University. Reports have further stated that she was pursuing a doctorate at the time of Charlie's passing. On top of that, following his death, she stepped into the role of CEO of Turning Point USA, a major leadership position that drew immediate attention because it was a role she had not previously held. Now, take those facts and compare them with the message Charlie Kirk promoted publicly for years. Charlie was widely known for advocating traditional views on marriage and family. He often argued that marriage and motherhood should be major priorities for women and frequently spoke about marrying at a younger age. He also made controversial comments about college, at times describing it as a place where many women ultimately found a future spouse, which he referred to as an MRS degree. Well, I'd never met anyone quite like her. I remember I called Tyler and I said he's gonna have to find talent somewhere else. And whatever opening he thought she would fill, that was not gonna work. And Tyler was trying to coach me down because he said that she was way out of my league. He's so right, by the way.
Well, I've never met anyone quite like her. I remember I called Tyler and I said he's gonna have to find talent somewhere else. And whatever opening he thought she would fill, that was not gonna work. And Tyler was trying to coach me down because he said that she was way out of my league. He's still right, by the way.
That quote has resurfaced as people revisit the couple's story and compare Charlie's public statements with the reality of his marriage. Critics and commentators alike have pointed out what they see as a striking contrast. Erika pursued higher education, developed a professional career, took on leadership responsibilities, and built accomplishments that extended far beyond the traditional domestic role often discussed in Charlie's public messaging. For many observers, that contrast is what makes the story so fascinating. They argue that Erika's path looked very different from the type of lifestyle Charlie frequently praised in speeches, interviews, and public appearances. With advanced degrees, a growing career, executive leadership responsibilities, and a strong professional identity, some commentators believe she represented a model that differed significantly from the ideals Charlie often promoted. Whether people see that as a contradiction or simply a more complex reality, it has become one of the biggest talking points surrounding their relationship. To many critics, Erika's background seemed very different from the lifestyle and values Charlie often discussed publicly, which is why their relationship continues to spark so much debate. Long before she ever met Charlie Kirk, Erika had already established herself professionally and was building a career with a wide range of interests and accomplishments. She earned a real estate license and worked with the well-known Corcoran Group, a highly recognized name in the real estate industry. At the same time, she was reportedly involved with charitable organizations that provided opportunities for international travel, allowing her to meet people from different industries and backgrounds around the world. Reports also indicate that she operated a clothing brand and maintained professional connections within the modeling world, including relationships with agencies such as Next Model. Her resume was already growing long before she entered the national political spotlight. Her profile expanded even further on the 23rd of November 2011, when she won the title of Miss Arizona, earning the opportunity to represent the state at the Miss USA pageant in 2012. This was not simply a local competition. She competed on a national stage, appeared at high-profile events, participated in media appearances, and gained exposure far beyond Arizona. Some reports also note appearances in documentary-style productions connected to topics involving national security, infrastructure concerns, and emergency preparedness. For many observers, these accomplishments paint the picture of someone who was highly ambitious and actively pursuing opportunities across multiple fields. Rather than focusing on just one path, Erika appeared to be building experience in business, public appearances, philanthropy, and professional networking all at the same time. Then there is another layer that has drawn attention from online commentators: her family background. Discussions surrounding her mother, Lori Fransvee, often highlight reported connections to military contracting and business ventures. Public records and reports have been cited regarding ties to defense-related companies, including Raytheon, as well as involvement with multiple LLCs. Those details have fueled additional curiosity and speculation among people trying to piece together the broader story surrounding Erika's rise and public profile. Lori Fransvee was reportedly far from a stay-at-home figure. From accounts shared by those familiar with her background, she was a career-driven woman who built her own professional path and pursued a variety of business interests. People who have spoken about Erika's upbringing often describe Lori as one of the biggest influences in her life, helping shape the way she viewed success, opportunity, and personal achievement. Because of that, some observers argue that Erika's later accomplishments should not come as a surprise. They point to her education, business ventures, public appearances, and leadership roles as signs of someone who followed a path centered on independence and ambition. In their view, the qualities she displayed as an adult closely reflected the example she saw growing up. That brings us to a question that has generated major discussion online. Many commentators have wondered how Charlie, who publicly spoke at length about his views on relationships, marriage, and family roles, ultimately ended up proposing to someone whose life experiences appeared very different from the model he often described. The contrast has become one of the most debated aspects of their story. According to reports and online accounts, their first in-person meeting was originally expected to be a professional interaction. However, some sources claim the connection developed unusually fast, with stories circulating that Charlie became seriously interested almost immediately. These claims remain unverified, but they continue to be repeated across discussions about the couple. The matchmaking side of the story has also attracted attention. According to various reports, Tyler Bowyer allegedly played a role in introducing the two and had spoken positively about Erika well before they met. Some sources claim he highlighted her accomplishments and personal qualities over time, helping build a favorable impression. Others have gone even further, suggesting he may have used specific persuasion techniques to encourage Charlie's interest, a claim that remains a matter of speculation and debate. According to various reports, Tyler Bowyer allegedly presented Erika to Charlie in a very specific way. Sources claim he emphasized the idea that she was exceptionally accomplished and, as some accounts describe it, way out of his league. Supporters of this theory argue that framing someone as difficult to win over can sometimes make them seem even more appealing. Whether that played any role or not remains a matter of speculation, but it has become a major part of the story being discussed online. But the story does not stop there. Some sources have gone even further, claiming that before Tyler became involved, Erika and her mother, Lori, had already been looking for opportunities to meet Charlie through normal social and professional circles. These claims have not been independently verified, but they continue to circulate among people who closely follow the story. According to those accounts, there were alleged efforts over the years to cross paths with Charlie in a way that would feel natural rather than arranged. Commentators who believe this version of events argue that multiple opportunities were explored before a successful introduction finally happened. Then, according to the same reports, Tyler Bowyer entered the picture and helped create the connection that eventually brought the two together. One story that has received renewed attention involves an airport encounter. Erika once spoke about publicly. She recalled seeing a man standing in a ticket line who looked familiar. According to her account, her mother encouraged her to walk over and introduce herself, but she decided not to approach him at the time. Years later, she reportedly realized that the man had been Charlie Kirk. Erika presented the story as a remarkable coincidence, almost like a missed connection that life later brought full circle. For some people, it sounds like a heartfelt and memorable moment. Others, however, have viewed it with more skepticism. Critics have argued that the story feels unusually cinematic and perfectly timed, leading some online commentators to question whether it was simply an extraordinary coincidence or something that has grown more dramatic through retelling. As with many parts of this story, the debate continues to divide opinions. As discussions around the couple continue to grow, some people have started revisiting the airport story and questioning whether the encounter was truly as random as it appeared. Supporters of that theory wonder if it was simply an unlikely coincidence or something that has been remembered and retold in a more dramatic way over time. There is no public evidence proving either view, but the speculation has become a major talking point online. While Charlie was alive, many observers felt Erika maintained a very specific public image. She frequently appeared alongside him with a polished but understated style, often wearing simple outfits, natural-looking hairstyles, and a presentation that many people described as modest and conservative. Online commentators have compared the look to what is often called the clean girl aesthetic. To supporters, it projected composure, professionalism, and traditional values. Because of that image, many people felt she fit comfortably into the public brand that surrounded Charlie. She appeared calm, supportive, and rarely became the center of attention herself. As a result, audiences became familiar with a particular version of Erika that remained fairly consistent throughout much of Charlie's public career. However, Some commentators claim they noticed changes in her public appearances after Charlie's passing. According to those observers, her fashion choices, styling, and overall presentation became more noticeable and expressive. Discussions online have focused on everything from makeup and jewelry to wardrobe choices, with some people praising the change as a sign of confidence and personal expression, while others viewed it as a sharp departure from her earlier public image. That contrast has led to a question that continues to fuel debate. If the more recent public appearances reflect Erika's authentic personal style, some commentators wonder whether her earlier image was simply shaped by the expectations of the environment she was in at the time. Others argue that people naturally evolve, especially after major life events, and that changes in appearance do not necessarily reveal anything deeper. Either way, the shift has become another topic that keeps online discussions buzzing. Sources who claim to have connections to Charlie's sister, Mary, have been circulating a number of serious allegations about how the relationship developed behind the scenes. According to these claims, several people in Charlie's circle allegedly encouraged him to move toward marriage, with some sources specifically pointing to Erika as someone who strongly wanted a long-term commitment. It is important to note that these claims remain unverified and are the subject of ongoing debate. According to those accounts, Erika was determined to build a future with Charlie and was not interested in leaving the relationship's direction uncertain for long. Critics who support these allegations argue that she actively pursued commitment, while others see that characterization as speculation rather than established fact. As of now, there is no public evidence that conclusively proves these claims. Some of the theories being discussed online suggest that events such as the airport story, Tyler Bowyer's reported involvement, and the pace of the relationship were all connected. Supporters of these theories argue that various circumstances may have helped bring the couple together and accelerate the relationship. However, these interpretations are based largely on personal opinions and source claims, rather than publicly verified documentation. Another point frequently mentioned by commentators is the 5-year age difference between Erika and Charlie. According to some sources, discussions about timing, future plans, and long-term commitment may have played a role in conversations about marriage. Critics have speculated that concerns about life goals and family planning could have increased the urgency surrounding the relationship, though these claims remain unconfirmed. Even as questions continue to circulate, public reactions online have become increasingly intense. Social media users have shared countless theories, some far more dramatic than others. One commenter responded to Erika's public statement that nothing happens by coincidence by writing, "Not coincidence." She was sent to be his handler. That remark quickly gained attention, becoming another example of the explosive speculation that continues to spread across online discussions surrounding the story. The comment was short, direct, and, judging by the thousands of reactions it received, clearly struck a nerve with a large segment of the online audience. Supporters of the theory pointed to it as validation of their suspicions, while critics argued that viral comments should not be confused with actual evidence. Still, the discussion spread rapidly and generated intense debate across multiple platforms. Another commenter posted a far more elaborate theory, writing, "So I got $5 that she met DT at an Epstein party, and she was planted to go after CK because DT understood the power he had, and DT needed an inside person. Once DT found out CK wanted the Epstein files opened from her, DT had to take him out. They'd only been married 4 years, and I guarantee they got married in less than 1 year of him knowing her." That post quickly gained major attention and sparked a wave of responses. Some users challenged the claims and pointed out the lack of supporting evidence, while others expanded on the theory with speculation of their own. The result was a massive back and forth that kept the conversation trending and drew even more people into the debate. Whether these claims are grounded in reality or simply internet speculation, they show the kinds of questions and theories that many online users are actively discussing. The volume of engagement alone demonstrates how much curiosity still surrounds the story. Then there was another comment that gained attention for being especially blunt. The commenter wrote, "She has always been a self-absorbed, attention-seeking narcissistic from her pageant days to reality TV to chasing Charlie Kirk and pretending she didn't know who he was. That statement, like many others circulating online, reflects the personal opinion of an individual commenter rather than a verified fact, but it nevertheless became another widely shared piece of the ongoing controversy. That comment resonated with many people online because it reflected a broader sentiment that has been growing across certain corners of the internet. For those following the controversy, it is not any single allegation that keeps the discussion alive. Instead, they point to what they see as a larger pattern made up of multiple claims, observations, and unanswered questions. Supporters of these theories often highlight the same list of talking points. They point to the contrast between Erika's background and the qualities Charlie frequently praised in public. They discuss reports that the couple's relationship moved quickly, claims that mutual connections helped bring them together, and observations about how Erika's public image appeared to change over time. Critics of Erika view these details as pieces of a larger puzzle, while others argue that they are simply unrelated events being grouped together to fit a preferred narrative. The speculation becomes even more intense when online commentators bring up other allegations that have circulated in recent discussions. Some users have referenced reports about meetings, political figures, and professional connections, attempting to connect those events into a much larger story. However, many of these claims remain unverified, and there is currently no publicly established evidence supporting some of the more dramatic conclusions being shared online. Another area generating significant attention involves claims that Charlie was interested in controversial subjects and powerful networks that have been the focus of public debate for years. Online investigators and commentators frequently point to recurring names, organizations, and associations they believe deserve closer examination. As more theories continue to spread, supporters argue that the connections appear increasingly significant, while skeptics counter that speculation can easily create links that may not actually exist. That disagreement has become one of the biggest drivers, keeping the controversy alive and fueling non-stop discussion across social media. One detail that continues to dominate online discussions is Charlie Kirk's wedding ring on the night of the UVU event. According to claims circulating online, Charlie was not wearing his wedding band that evening. Some commentators have also pointed to reports that he left for the event without a public farewell to Erika. Those details, whether significant or completely ordinary, have become a major focus for people trying to understand the bigger picture. For many online observers, the question is simple. Was it merely a coincidence, or are people reading deeper meaning into routine events? Some have speculated that the ring carried symbolic importance, while others argue there is no evidence connecting it to anything beyond personal choice. At this point, those interpretations remain opinions rather than established facts. What keeps the conversation alive is the belief among certain researchers, commentators, and online communities that there are still unanswered questions. They continue examining documents, reviewing claims, and searching for additional sources. As new information and theories emerge, supporters believe more pieces of the puzzle are being uncovered, while skeptics caution that speculation should not be mistaken for proof. The debate remains as intense as ever. So now, the question is in your hands. After looking at all the claims, discussions, and theories surrounding this story, what do you make of it? When you consider Erika's background, the reports about how the relationship developed, the public conversations about changes in her image after Charlie's death, and the many opinions being shared by people online, what conclusion do you reach? Do you see it as a relationship that faced extraordinary challenges and ultimately ended in tragedy? Or do you think there are still unanswered questions that deserve a closer look? The internet has been divided on this issue, and the debate only seems to be getting louder with each new claim and perspective that surfaces. Now, we want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others who are following the story. And don't forget to comment with your opinion, because your take might be featured in a future discussion.